Hello students, welcome to the lecture 4 of chapter 2, electric potential and capacitances. So our next topic is potential energy of a dipole in an external field. Let this is the electric field in this direction and this is the dipole having the dipole moment P, which is placed forming an angle theta with the direction of the electric field. So in this direction the dipole is placed. Now when this dipole is placed in the electric field, this electric field which will turn this electric dipole into its direction. So this dipole will start to rotate, and due to this rotation or due to this electric field, this dipole will experience a torque. So the value of torque experienced by dipole placed in an electric field E is torque is equal to P cross E, or we can write it as PE sine theta, and due to this torque the dipole will rotate. So if we want to place this dipole in the electric field in the steady state, so we should impose an external torque which should be equal to this torque to just neutralize this rotation. So tau external is applied to just neutralize this torque tau and rotates it in the plane of paper from theta I to theta f. Suppose due to this external torque, the dipole will rotate from the initial angle theta I to the final angle theta f. So in this rotation there is a work done by this external torque. So the value of work done will be equal to integration theta I to theta f. This is the value of external torque. So we are writing it like force, and d theta suppose is the displacement during the initial and final position. So we will put the value of tau external, which will be just equal to this torque. So PE sine theta d theta. Now we will integrate it. PE is a constant, it will come outside the integration, and the integration of sine theta is cos theta. So cos theta within the limits theta I to theta f. Now we will put the limits. So minus PE, the upper limit cos theta f, minus the lower limit cos theta I, or in general we can write it as minus PE cos theta. So this is the value of work done by the external torque, and this work done will be stored as the potential energy of the dipole, due to which it will be placed in an electric field. So this amount of work done will be equal to the potential energy of the dipole. Now we will learn about the conductors. So the electrostatics of conductors. We know that conductors have the larger electrical conductivity, and reason of this larger conductivity is the presence of large number of mobile charge carriers, and we call these charge carriers as free electrons. So due to the presence of free electrons, the conductors are having larger electrical conductivity. Now we will learn about some properties of conductors. First one is that inside a conductor electrostatic field is zero. If a conductor is placed in an electric field, then the electric field inside the conductor will be zero. Now second property is, if the field inside the conductor is zero, it means all the charges given to the conductor will be on its surface. So at the surface of charged conductor, electric field is always normal to the surface at each point. If all the charges are at surfaces, then due to these charges, the electric field will be always normal to the surface of the conductor, and inside the conductor the electric field is zero. Now if the electrical if the conductor is in the form of hollow conductor, so for a hollow charge conductor the electric field is again zero in the cavity of it. So if the conductor is hollow, then inside this cavity the electric field is zero, because inside the cavity there will be no charges, because all the charges given will be on its surface. So the charges enclosed are zero. Then due to this Gauss's law, this q upon epsilon naught is zero, means E dot dl is zero. It simply implies that the electric field is zero. So the electric field inside this hollow conductor is zero. The next property is that surface of a charged conductor is an equipotential surface, because all the charges given to the conductor will reside on its surface, so its potential will be same at all the points. So this surface will be an equipotential surface. The next property is the electric potential is constant inside and on the surface of the conductor. So because inside the electric field is zero, we can prove that the potential is constant by the relation of electric field and this potential gradient. We know that E is equal to minus dV upon dr, and by the first property we know that inside the conductor electric field is zero, so this potential gradient will be equal to zero. It simply means that this potential difference dV is equal to zero. When we will integrate on both the sides, dV will give V, that is potential, and integration of 0 is always a constant. So the potential inside the surface of the conductor is constant. Now the next property is the electric field at the surface of the charged conductor. E is equal to sigma upon epsilon naught n. By the second property we know that the electric field is always normal to the surface of the conductor, and this will be its value, where sigma is the surface charge density and epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space, and n is the unit vector normal to the surface. We can prove it by this flux value. Phi is equal to E dot S is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. Here I have taken the total surface as S. So the total charge we can write as the surface charge density into the total surface. So surface will cancel out on both the sides. So we will get E is equal to sigma upon epsilon naught. In the form of vector, it will be E equal to sigma upon epsilon naught n cap, means the unit vector in the direction normal to the surface. So these were the properties of the conductors. Now the fourth property of the conductors is used in an important phenomena which is known as electrostatic shielding. So what is electrostatic shielding? The arrangement of making a region free from any electric field is called as electrostatic shielding, because from the fourth property we know that if the charged conductor is hollow, means charge is there, then inside this cavity the electric field is zero. So this phenomena, the arrangement of making the region, this region we have made the free from the electric field. So this phenomena is known as electrostatic shielding, and it is based on this concept that inside the hollow conductor the electric field is zero. This phenomena is used in various applications, like first, in lightning it is safest to sit inside a car, because when there is a thunderstorm and accompanied by lightning, it is safest to sit inside the car, because the metallic body of the car becomes an electrostatic shielding from lightning, and the person who is sitting inside the car will be safe, because here the electric field is zero and all the electric charge will come on the body of the car. So this is used to save the person from the lightning. Now second application is to protect the sensitive components of electronic devices, because sensitive components of the electronic devices are protected from the external electrical disturbances by placing metal shields around them. If you want to protect the sensitive components, we will make a metal shield around them, and by doing so, these inner components will be safe from the outer electrical disturbances. Now, the third use in the coaxial cables. We know that coaxial cables are used to carry the signals. So, in the coaxial cable, the outer conductor is connected to the ground, which provides an electrical shield to the signals which are carried by the central conductor. So in this way, this inner signals will get no disturbance from the outer electrical disturbances. So these are the applications of this phenomena, electrostatic shielding.